Hi, I'm Lama Tantrapa. Thank you for taking a couple of minutes to watch this video. You are about to discover how to transform a technique that most people are very familiar with, especially if they do any martial arts, boxing, or any related disciplines like that. Even Tai Chi uses what we call punching. Well, today I'm going to show you how to boost the power of your punch, literally twice, if not more. And this may apply to you even if you have been practicing Tai Chi or martial arts of any kind for years, maybe even decades. Here with me is Craig Payton, who has been practicing martial arts for how many years?
Oh, 30 plus.
30 plus years. Great. We are going to experiment with some of the punches that Craig is familiar with. He's black belt in Taekwondo and studied many other disciplines. Anything from Tai Chi to what?
Tai Chi, Judo, Hapkido, Taekwondo,
Wow.
Bagua Shingi.
Great. So you know a thing or two about punches, and we are going to play with some simple punches. What would you say is your favorite punch today?
My favorite punch, well, let me say just perhaps the one that I've practiced the most would be a reverse punch. Taekwondo reverse punch is very familiar to me. You want me to demonstrate?
Would you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the traditional punch
Boom.
looks like this.
Very nice. Hit the target for me, would you? Very nice. Do it again. And one more time. So in terms of strength of the punch, you probably feel how it feels. I feel how it feels. Now, there are ways to improve upon any punch. Like, for example, would you hold this for me just like I did for you? The punch, obviously, that you demonstrated was kind of like this. But, first of all, let's take a look at the body alignment. Body alignment in the punch is crucial and absolutely necessary and virtually never taught. Or I would actually say it's taught wrong. In majority of cases, in majority of styles and schools of martial arts I've visited, I've interviewed over 200 masters of Tai Chi, Qigong, and related disciplines for my talk show, The Secrets of Qigong Masters. And most people, like for example in Taekwondo and Karate and Tai Chi and many other styles, they are taught how to hold the torso more or less upright during the punch. Is that right?
Yeah.
Kind of like this. What I'm talking about is actually streamlining the torso with the back leg. I'm talking about alignment of the entire spine, including cervical spine. Here, I arrive to strike the target, but the alignment of the spine is vertical instead of aligned with the back leg. When this happens, I literally don't have a very solid bone structure. So I have to use muscles to push the fist forward instead of using the whole body power. Watch this. Boom. You see how alignment of the entire spine with the back leg is what we're talking about. Sometimes people look at the eyes of the person who they are punching. Terrible idea. Why? Because this misaligns the cervical spine, your neck. If the neck is not in alignment, some part of the spine is not in alignment, the cervical spine. Feel this. As opposed to, what's the difference?
The second one's much more powerful, penetrating.
Now, I can talk about it till cows come home. Let's see if we can get Craig to experience something like that. Would you punch one way and the other way and see if you notice any difference for yourself? Okay. And now keeping it in alignment with the back leg. Yeah. Do you feel a difference?
Yeah.
Like for example, if you just push me with your fist. Yeah. This, can you push me any harder? Yeah. Very nice. And if you do the exact same maneuver, but don't align the spine with the back leg, just keep it upright and beautiful the way that you're supposed to in karate or taekwondo or whatever disciplines. Notice I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah.
You cannot generate power when you don't have structural alignment. Let's move on to the next principle, and this is crucial an absolutely essential principle that is never, ever present in most styles of martial arts. As a matter of fact, in many styles, it's taught opposite of what I'm talking about. The principle of orientation. By talking about orientation, I mean orienting center line of my body with the placement of the fist, wherever it's going to land on the target. So if my target is here, I want to be able to align my center line with the place where I'm projecting energy. If I do that, it feels like this. If I don't do that, for example, the way that it's often taught is that the fist is supposed to be somewhere in front of the shoulder, like this, instead of center line. What's going to happen is this. Nothing. Damn, this is really frustrating. There is motion happening. I'm wasting energy, but I'm not distributing energy, delivering it in the form of impact, as opposed to impact that happens on the center line. Now, this is just number 2 of several principles that I wanted to cover today. Would you check this and see if it makes any difference to you? And stop. So the center line is pointing right here, so there is about 2-3 inches distance between the placement of the fist and the point where the center line is pointing. Now, if you do the same movement but actually point your center line right towards the place where the fist is going to land, what's it going to feel like? Yeah. Different. Mm-hmm. Let's do it again. Good. Now, this is something that can be improved upon if we continue observing the alignment of other parts of the body with center line. What other parts are we talking about? Well, obviously you're stepping forward with the front foot, distributing weight on that foot. Where is the foot in alignment with the center line? If the foot is in alignment with the center line, that's what we call being stabilized. Like, for example, if you just make that movement as if you're punching, show where the foot is. If the fist is here, the center line is here, and the foot is over there, everything is kind of scrambled. You know what I'm talking about? I push, and there is no stability. I can actually, just using my pectoralis muscles, push you over. It's not a very advantageous position for the body. Now, what do we want? We want the foot to be on the center line, just like we want the hand to be on the center line. What would that feel like? To bring the center line in alignment with both the foot and the hand. It would feel different. It would feel radically different. I can push you. I'm pushing and pushing, and you're not resisting anymore, are you? Isn't it weird?
It's just holding.
Just standing there. Like, for example, if you resist my push, my hand is on my center line, and my front foot is on the center line. And just watch this. I can push very, very easily. So if I wanted to, I could punch also just as easily. Now, if my foot is just a tiny bit off center line, notice how I'm not stable. I don't have stability that keeps me from pushing myself away from my target. Seems like the hand is on the center line, that's hunky-dory, but foot is nowhere to be seen. If the foot is right there, totally different feeling, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Would you do the same to me?
Well, let's start in the position that's more familiar to me.
Okay. So this is how it feels. Let's remember the feeling. And now, would you bring the foot on the center line? Yeah, just like that. So the hand and the foot are on the same plane. Hand is right on top of the foot. Totally different feeling, isn't it? Just to humor me, what if you just turn the toes slightly away? Just a few degrees difference. And notice how there's no power. Suddenly, again, you can't push. And if you turn the toes more inwards, you can push. If you turn the toes too much inwards, like people do sometimes in Cheney and some other martial arts, right? Ooh, no power again. Where'd it go? It immediately disappeared. Why does it disappear? leaving you without any power. It's because you are not stable on your feet if your foot is not in alignment with your center line. Now, which of the feet should be in alignment? The foot that carries your weight, or that's about to carry your weight, because there is another principle of timing. You may not even distribute the weight on this foot yet, but this foot already needs to be in alignment with the center line. Wait a moment, you may say, what do you mean you're not distributing the weight on this foot yet? Where is the weight? Up in the air? You're levitating? You're not levitating. You are about to bring the weight onto this foot. You're stepping forward with this foot, and the impact of the hand into the target needs to happen before the foot reaches the ground. Why? Because it allows you to transfer the movement of the whole body mass forward. As soon as the foot reaches the floor, it drains kinetic energy into the ground. You lose momentum. Most of your momentum is lost. The way that most people practice punches is this: step, punch. There's some oomph to it, but it all comes from the physical force. I don't want to be forceful in my punches. I want to be powerful. What's the difference between using force and using power? Using force happens when you step and then deliver impact. Using power happens when you deliver impact and then land with the foot on the ground. It feels like this. And there is nothing I'm using differently in terms of body mechanics other than the timing of the landing of the foot. Movement forward doesn't require too much effort. I'm just moving my body. Essentially all it takes is to lift the foot off the ground so I start falling forward. This falling motion is what allows me to project energy forward. I can of course also rotate my body. So for example, if my body weight is located more on the back foot at the moment, then I start transferring the weight forward and a step forward. Bring the weight onto the front foot, aligning center line with the front foot, and delivering impact before my foot lands on the ground. Then it looks like this. Totally different feeling, isn't it? Now we combine the timing with the rotation and with the use of the whole body power. This makes me powerful instead of forceful. Now, this is something you can translate into every aspect of your life. Would you rather be a powerful businessman or a forceful businessman?
Powerful, of course. Yeah.
Why?
Because things happen in the normal course of life without having to try to make them happen. It's more effortless. It flows better.
It flows better. How about intimate relationships? Would you like to be a forceful lover or a powerful lover?
Powerful.
How about healing? Would you like to be a forceful healer or a powerful healer?
Powerful healer, of course.
Why?
Well, first of all, the idea of force and healing doesn't seem to go together at all in any case. So powerful seems to indicate effectiveness.
Exactly. Effectiveness is what we're after. We're talking about using the least amount of effort and getting maximum results. Let me introduce one more crucial principle that is going to transform the way that you use punches. 99.9% of people doing martial arts or boxing do this. Notice how most people lift the heel when they punch. This lifting of the heel is standard operating procedure for most people who practice any type of punching. When I lift my heel, I no longer connect with the ground through the bone structure of my leg. Instead, I'm using the tension of the calf muscles. And the calf muscles are never as strong as bones. So what are my options? Well, I can keep lifting the heel and expect different results. Well, if you keep doing the same thing and expect different results, that's what?
Definition of insanity.
That's crazy. Now what if I don't lift my heel? It looks and feels like this. That feels different, doesn't it? Due to connection to the ground, I am not lifting the heel, I'm connecting to the ground, so when I distribute energy into the target, there is no softness in my back leg. I'm totally solid here. The bone structure provides me with excellent support. And then I just send away. That's the example of a 0-inch punch. You know how Bruce Lee was famous for 1-inch punch. Boom. Yeah, okay, 1-inch punch is nice. You can hurt somebody maybe. Now here's 0-inch punch. No distance to travel. I may even do it like this. How does it feel?
Shocking.
A little bit surprising. How is it possible to deliver strike with no distance? I'm already touching. Oh. Totally confusing and unpleasant when this happens. At this distance, there is no distance there. There's 0-inch distance. That's why I call it 0-inch punch. Now let's see if you do this experiment with me by punching with all the principles that we observed, but lifting the back heel during the punch, and then next time we will do it, we will keep the heel on the ground. Let's do it again. And one more time. Nice. And now let's do the same move, but keeping the back heel on the ground. Let's do it again. Do you feel the difference? Let's do it one more time. Now, I'm not jumping, I'm not resisting any more or any less the impact. It's just you literally take my arms and move my whole body.
Yeah. I think I could improve it still, but I can feel the difference.
Now, let's do the exact same move, but do it slowly, would you? This is basically a slow motion punch. And you literally project energy through the target and into my spine. Yeah, very nice. Now, if you do exact same movement, but lifting the back heel, what's the difference?
The first way just takes you with it. The other way seems to just bounce off. It's not as solid.
True. And the reason why it's not solid is because you don't have solid connection with the ground using your back heel. So if I ask you, what would you rather do? Keep the back heel on the ground or lift it up in the air when you punch? What would you say?
I'd rather keep it on the ground.
And combined with the timing so that your front foot lands on the ground after the delivery of punch, that's going to be pretty much the point of contact, the only point of contact between you and the ground at the moment of impact. What happens when that only point of contact is strong? Provides you not only support, it also provides you backing from behind. And what does the other hand do? Well, the other hand moves in reverse. So it's not just dangling here. It's not doing this. It's not doing something else. It's actually moving in reverse, preparing for the next punch. So it's a 1-2, for example. 1-2, whereas one is delivering strike, the second is preparing, if necessary 3, if necessary 4. But 1-2 punch, obviously the first punch is more of a decoy or a jab. 1-2. Feel it? Now, 1-2 only works well if the 2 went backwards in the moment of the first one delivering an impact, and then it's coming in next. This is what we call primary and secondary movements. Primary movement, by definition, is the movement of the limb that travels in the same direction where the center of mass is moving. The secondary movement goes in the opposite direction, or somewhere else. So for example, 1, this is a primary movement. I'm not moving the center of mass that much, but at least I'm not retracting my center of mass. 2 is going to become primary movement because center mass is moving forward. During the 1, this hand is traveling backwards. This is performing secondary movement. This is what we also refer to as the yin and yang cycles of the movement. So surprisingly, in Chinese philosophy, movement forward is actually yin, and movement backwards is yang. The idea is that there is the yang part of the cycle, and then there is yin part of the cycle. Yang part of the cycle and yin part of the cycle. When this is working with the other hand, then they are working in collaboration with each other in a non-stop punching sequence like this. So that becomes an unstoppable movement of me projecting energy without much force, without much effort. And you notice how I'm speaking. So I'm not losing my breath, I'm not forcing my breath. I'm exhaling at the moment of impact, by the way. I'm not holding my breath. Now, would you rather exhale or inhale during the impact? What do you think?
I think exhale.
Yeah, it would be kind of odd to inhale. It may be a little bit confusing to the opponent. But it's certainly a part of the whole deal. You exhale, so the timing works in this manner. You exhale, you deliver impact, then the foot lands on the ground. This one more demonstration. When you keep everything together, the fist on the center line, the foot steps right onto the target after they deliver the impact, and the back heel stays on the ground, and the spine is streamlined, and the timing of the exhale coincides with impact. Let's do it. So notice what you're doing with this hand. I was just talking about this hand is moving in reverse, preparing for the second punch. Yeah. And what happens with this hand is actually very interesting. Imagine that you're holding a brick, and you move this brick back, kind of cocking it to push it into the target. Now, I visualize I hold the brick, and then I'm just going to load the brick into the target. If I do it like this, I will lose the brick. So I am holding the brick for as long as I can, and then I just deliver the impact into the target. It looks like this. Sorry. So it feels like being hit with a brick. Now, if you observe my alignment, you notice how my hand is on top of my foot. And in profile, you can see how my spine is in alignment with the back leg. My back heel is on the ground. And everything is working together. And I don't stop here. I move through the target like I'm pulling another brick. So this movement, the yang cycle of movement, is the beginning of yin. It's like I'm reaching the target, I'm grabbing the brick and pulling it. Now I'm holding it, and now I'm going to release it, grab another brick, and keep on going. If I imagine that I'm doing it with both hands, I have twice as many bricks. I hear myself breathing. I don't hear you breathe. Would you breathe, please?
Yes.
Totally different feeling. Totally different feeling on my part. That's like being hit with a few bricks.
And I'm still only not even halfway there with getting everything together.
Yeah. Cool. Does it feel more powerful as compared to the initial strikes that you were demonstrating a few minutes ago?
Yeah.
Would you say it's about twice as powerful or more?
At least twice.
It's really a pleasure to share with you a little bit about our punches. We literally covered maybe 0.1% of what I would like to offer to you. I want to invite you to join us for a webinar this Thursday, during which you will learn how to apply these principles not only to punches, but to a variety of other practices in the energy arts, in the healing arts, and in your daily life. Please click the link below this video, and I will see you there.